right, we are back with Rhett Bryan from Titans Radio. Rhett, we just discussed Mike Mularkey, who, despite the 2-7 record, I think put a very good showing in terms of what he can do with this team out there in the last half of the season as the interim coach. He's going to get consideration from the Adams family and from Steve Underwood for the permanent head job. Who are some of the other coaches out there that you like? I'll say this, from my standpoint, a couple things I look for is, one, I think you're looking for Marcus Mariota. So in my mind, I think you want an offensive head coach that has some ideas for him. And the other part of that is you spent a lot of effort last year to bring in Dick LeBeau to help continue with this 3-4 defensive transition. There's not much of a better guy out there to do it than Dick LeBeau. That's the other reason why I want an offensive guy, because I'd like to keep Dick LeBeau around, keep that 3-4 transition going, and stay the same on that side of the ball. What say you?
Please, let's keep Dick LeBeau here for at least another year. Yeah, that would be a concern of mine moving forward if you get a head coach that is defensive minded. I don't think that would be the direction they'd go. But in terms of names on lists that you see, you know, the hot name, and this guy's going to be interviewed all over the place, is Hugh Jackson, the offensive coordinator for the Cincinnati Bengals. And, you know, this is a guy that in 2011 was the head coach of the Oakland Raiders, took them to an 8-8 season, which is, with all the things that they'd had going on in the last few years, a very respectable record. Then they hired Reggie McKenzie as the general manager, and so he wanted to go a different direction with another guy, and so Hugh's been there ever since in Cincinnati, and I think this is his second season as offensive coordinator. And we see what he's done with Andy Dalton and the weapons that they have with Giovanni Bernard and the big back Hill, and of course the wide receivers and Marvin Jones and AJ Green and those guys. That's a name that I would be interested to see what the process is with him. He seems like a very bright guy, and certainly I like the fact that he has previous head coaching experience before, just like Mike Mularkey does. Other names, you're going to hear a lot about Adam Gase, the offensive coordinator for the Chicago Bears. And, you know, he was with the Broncos and worked with Manning. He's worked with Jay Cutler now. That's a name you'll hear. Josh McDaniels, who has been a head coach, went to New England, went to Denver as a head coach, now is back in New England, and certainly is working that offensive magic with Brady and those guys. That's a guy you're going to hear a lot out of. And there's some other names around, but there's not that many there's not as many openings as I thought there would be on what they call Black Monday. The surprise is Chuck Pagano re-signs last night. Ryan Grigson, their general manager, re-signs last night. So you still have the Giants, the Dolphins, the 49ers, the Titans, the Browns. Am I missing? Is there one other one?
I think you got it there.
But so there's not that many openings to begin with. But there will be lots of interviews, and as Mr. Underwood said yesterday, they expect to have their first interview of one of these two positions, and I bet they'll have one tomorrow, maybe multiples tomorrow.
Yeah, I think the other interesting thing to point out that because the Colts job doesn't come open, this Titans job to me now is a fairly attractive job in this whole scenario because of the fact that you've got Marcus Mariota and you've got the #1 overall pick sitting there. So there are some things to build on quickly. We only have about 30 seconds before a break. But GM candidates out there, the Titans reportedly have already talked to or are reaching out to Eric DeCosta of the Ravens, Mark Ross of the Giants, Jimmy Ray of the Colts. All three of those guys, seasoned vets that have a lot of respect around the league. That's the type of hire they're going to get, right?
I would think so. DeCosta would be the leader in the clubhouse if I'm them.
All right, we got to take a break here. We will come back, wrap things up with Rhett Bryan right after this.